Mortal Kombat 1 is all over the place right now, with its still rather recent announcement and more recent still its gameplay debut at Summer Game Fest. All eyes are on it to see what this new installment of NetherRealm Studios' Mortal Kombat has waiting for us. Ketchup and myself were lucky enough to be at Summer Game Fest this year, and we got some hands-on time to play MK1 and even capture some footage, courtesy of Warner Bros. UK, and we thank them very much for sending us out there and for the opportunity. Now, one thing we typically enjoy making whenever we get to do pre-release content is character breakdowns, but it felt perhaps a little too early for that given the game had only just got announced and it's still not out until September. That was, of course, until the news of the online stress test came out, and even more so that it's this weekend, from June 23rd to the 25th. And on the off chance that it's the same build as Summer Game Fest, I thought it would be a cool idea to make a breakdown of the character that I spent my time playing, Sub-Zero. Of course, everything you're about to see is pre-release and subject to change, but on the chance you want to try Sub-Zero and get a little head start on what makes him tick at MK1, allow me to show you some of his important attacks and give some tips on how to get the ball rolling when playing him. And even if you're watching this when the game is already out, I hope this video helps and please enjoy. Before we start, I'd like to give an additional thanks to Justin Wong, as some of his footage is also used in this video. Special move wise, Sub-Zero is noticeably different in MK1, in the sense that he has quite a lot of them compared to his usual moves in NetherRealm MKs, so let's go over them. His signature Ice Ball returns, a projectile that grants a stun on a hit. The enhanced version goes through enemy projectiles. Ice Ball is rather slow on startup, so you'll need to be creative with how you combo into it, if that's what you want to do. Ice Clone also returns, creating a large clone that stuns the enemy on contact and can absorb projectile attacks. Enhancing the clone creates multiple clones at once. Ice Clone can also be used in the air to create an obstacle or extend combos. One drawback, however, is that Ice Clone is not active for very long compared to previous games, so it can't protect you non-stop. Ice Clone Charge is a new move that strikes the opponent with a clone attack that has respectable range and sends the opponent away on hit. Ice Slide is another returning move, a low strike with decent corner carry and a reliable ender for combos and wayward hits. Enhanced Slide has a hit of armor, making it a strong wake-up attack and reversal. It also switches sides. Diving Glacier is a dive kick. This attack can only be performed in the air and will juggle an opponent that is already in the air, and give some advantage when hitting an opponent on the ground. This can be done at any height in the air, but it's easier to combo from the lower to the ground it is, even allowing you to cancel into it from late jumping attacks for combo extensions. Enhanced Diving Glacier slams into the ground quickly and launches the opponent. Finally, Deadly Vapors is another new special, a blockable tracking attack that deals damage. The enhanced version grants a stun for follow-up attacks. This is looking like Sub-Zero's fastest go-to stun, and you can confirm into it from many of his important buttons and strings. And as this type of stun is separate to the Ice Ball or the clone, you can be rather creative with your combos and freeze multiple times. In case we have new viewers checking this out, before I mention the strings, allow me to explain some basic terminology I'll be using. I'll be referring to the face buttons as 1, 2, 3, and 4 in this, so you can follow regardless of the control method you're using. 1 is front punch, 2 is back punch, 3 is front kick, and 4 is back kick. Now, as this is just a basic overview, I won't be listing every single attack that Sub-Zero has, more just the attacks that are enough to get you started with the character to establish a basic game plan. Standing 1 is your fastest standing button. 1-2-2 completes the string, making 1-2 into special a quick standing option. Forward 1 is an advancing mid. Forward 1-2 is a string from this mid that you can cancel, making forward 1-2 enhanced Deadly Vapors, for example, a reliable combo starter. Forward 1-2-3 ends in a low. Back 2 hits twice and is an overhead. This attack launches the opponent on hit and is unsafe on block. The first hit can be cancelled, but you lose the launch if you do this. Back 3 is a low, and back 3-4 is a string that ends in low also. This is safe on block and knocks down on hit, but it can have other utility using cameos, and we'll get to that shortly. As for crouching pokes, down 1 is your fastest with good range. However, down 1s across the board were extremely negative on block in this build, so do be careful throwing them out excessively. Down 4 is slower than down 1, but has fantastic range on hit, gives you enough advantage to start some offense. Also, Sub-Zero's down 2 felt rather strong, a reliable anti-air to be sure, and the angle it covers seems very powerful. This may be where it ends for now with grounded attacks, but in MK1 we also have to cover the air combat attacks. Air combat is back in MK1 and functions similar to how it did in MK Armageddon. But for those of you who haven't played that, allow me to summarise. In MK1, each character has strings that only work in the air against an opponent in a juggled state. These air strings have their own utility and serve different purposes. For Sub-Zero, we'll keep it simple though. Air Combat 1-2 grants a ground bounce and forces Sub-Zero to stand right after, allowing you to follow up on the ground. This will be a reliable air string in a lot of juggled scenarios. However, you can also apply the typical logic on grounded strings to air ones. For example, you can combo into a dive kick and follow up on the ground. You just have to time it so a few hits of an air string connects first to allow the height to adjust properly. Here's where things get very up for debate. MK1's main gameplay mechanic is the Kameo fighter system, where you select what is essentially a highly involved assist character alongside your main to give you a completely new set of tools and utility. So how do you include them in an individual character breakdown such as this? After launch, it's likely to just become a case of mentioning cameos in particular that work well with that character, but for the sake of this video being pre-release, allow me to list some examples of what we've seen already. Sub-Zero fundamentally has a good variety of tools. He doesn't lack ability to obtain damage, his corner carry is strong, he has overhead and low mix-ups, but one thing that definitely couldn't hurt on top of this is some additional safety. Kano Kameo allows you to use the charged Kano ball, dedicate to an option, and if that option is blocked, simply release the ball to discourage your opponent from punishing it properly. Options like Kano Knife Toss allow you to extend combos from strings that typically don't allow for it, and some characters can even keep the opponent in enough hit stun for the usually hard to combo into Ice Ball to still work on the ground. And that's just using one Kameo. As we've seen in many videos already, Sonya Kameo allows Sub-Zero to extend air combos significantly thanks to the square wave, and to commit to the leg grab will turn his usually safe low into a higher damaging but unsafe launcher. Fundamentally, the Kameo system is about taking what you think your game plan is missing and finding it with the right Kameo. So this is a feature that I thoroughly recommend trying out as much as possible. It will be crucial to find the right Kameo fighter for you. And with how much variety even the 3 cameos from Summer Game Fest build granted, chances are you're going to have a lot to experiment with. So what have we seen here? We have a character with a fast high, an advancing confirmable mid, a safe low, an unsafe launching overhead, special moves that stun the opponent for combos, special moves that end combos, specials that allow you to create space and control it, and some options for movement as well, and reliable pokes that allow you to start your turn. And that's just Sub-Zero standalone. Remember, you'll have to pick a Kameo fighter on top of this. So the good news is that Sub-Zero has enough going by himself that at the very least your Kameo fighter will have quite a lot to play around in addition. Overall, Sub-Zero does seem like a character that experienced players will pick up quickly, and new players can comfortably come to learn. Using advancing buttons for whiff punishment in combination with an impressive walk speed and freezing special moves, the ability to turn any hit into impressive damage and corner carry, and of course an overhead and low built-in mix-up to make defending against him a lot more difficult. A lot of the typical Sub-Zero features that we've come to expect in NetherRealm games are here, but the addition of quite a few new moves and overall game mechanics could allow him to do even more. But we'll just have to wait and see how it all works out, as especially we're talking Kameo fighters on top of that. As this video ends, I'd like to give one final reminder that all this is from the Summer Game Fest build and could be different by the time you get your hands on it. But hopefully enough is similar that this guide can serve as some use going into the stress test, the beta, and of course the eventual launch itself of MK1. Sub-Zero is a classic character who I am sure many of you will want to play as soon as possible. Personally, I found him a ton of fun to play, and I'm sure many of you will too. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and tell us what character you'd want to see videos like this of in the future. As we get close to MK1's launch, we fully intend on making more character-related videos. One final thank you to WB Games UK for sending the two of us to LA to capture this footage, and a big thanks to you for watching. Have fun with MK1, and we'll see you next time.